You know, the safari experience, especially for people that are hunting dangerous game, comes with a lot of different kind of surprises. And one of the most often discussed surprises is the charge. Everybody likes to talk about, charges. And they do happen. They're usually the result of a wounded animal, but not always. Every now and then there's a guy that there's just something about him. Maybe it's his attitude, maybe it's his brand of cologne, that he just invites animals to attack him. And we've got one of those guys as our guest today, one of our guests. We've got Zach Neher, a good friend and a great client of a lot of years with us today. And Zach's coming to us from his trophy room in Oklahoma City. And we've got professional hunter Lynn Taylor. And Lynn needs really no introduction to our audience. Lynn's one of the most well-known, respected professional hunters in the dark continent, and we spent years and years hunting with Lynn with Chifuti, and Lynn does his freelance hunts, here and there in Zimbabwe. But primarily, and I hate to say this, Lynn, I always have to say primarily, Lynn is known as an elephant expert, because you really are an expert on every, species that you hunt. You've hunted them all successfully. But just like a guy like Mark Villaro loves cat hunting, you really love being on the tracks of elephants. So that's kind of your claim to fame. And Zach, how many times have you and Lynn hunted together? I'm trying to think. I know of two.
I think 4.
4. Okay.
4.
Yeah, around 4 times, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it'd been a bit. And, Zach, I always ask this, to a client guest coming on. I know a lot of your safari history has been with Chifuti and obviously with Lynn, but you've also hunted quite a bit around Africa. How many total safaris have you been in on, Zach?
I believe I've done 12 safaris so far.
How many countries have you hunted?
Just 3. I've hunted Zimbabwe many times. I've hunted Namibia a couple, and I've hunted South Africa a few times.
Okay. So, guys, we're really going to experience 2 different hunts that you two shared together today. And we're going to start in Chawari South on a safari that happened a few years ago. So, Zach, what was your goal on that safari, species-wise?
I really wanted an elephant. I'd taken buffalo before, I'd taken leopard, and I really wanted to get an elephant. I'd seen a lot of it on tracks across Africa, and I had to do it. The main species was elephant, but we definitely wanted to get a buffalo, and we did. A little bit more than we bargained for.
So, Lynn, when you're doing an elephant buffalo hunt, obviously both of them are classic tracking situations. So what's your game plan going into this hunt?
So I remember it was early season. It's always a hard time to get into buffalo, but it's early season can be good for elephant, and I remember that was my game plan, was to get the elephant bull down first, and then move on to the buffalo after that. So the first few days we really worked hard on that elephant bull.
I was hoping you'd turn broadside so I could show you the ear hole. But anyway, I knew if we made a noise you'd swing front onto us, and that wouldn't help us either. Anyway, we've got to see him after all day trekking. Yeah. He's about 35 pounds. But we're second day, so we'll just keep trying.
Well, now, do I remember correctly, you got into the buffalo before you got into the elephant?
That is true. I think that did happen. There's so many buffalo around, and whilst we were looking for a good bull, we came across some really good tracks on the buffalo, so we just went after them.
So I'm telling you, I was looking at some of the footage yesterday getting ready for this, and it was as thick and green as I can ever remember seeing it.
I think it was April, hey? It was an April hunt.
The good news is you can get close to the buffalo, and the bad news is you can get real close to the buffalo.
Yeah, April is quite a challenging hunt, especially for buffalo. And there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of foliage, just trying to pick out a good bull in that thick stuff can be challenging.
Well, I know you like to hunt dogger boys, and I know Zach, you like to hunt for a single dogger boy. But that early in the hunt, lots of the bulls are still in the herds. So whenever you pick up the tracks of a herd, you're going to go, just like you guys did. You dropped in behind them, and we're going to try to shadow them and try to pick out a good bull. And you got close to them, Lynn.
We did. We got close to them a few times, it was a good classic safari, and it really worked out nice for us in the end.
Well, I want to show you a piece of video right here. You guys got in nice and close, but this can happen. It looked to me like you probably had a wind shift. You were shadowing a really large herd here, and obviously they were, I think I remembered you on tape, Zach, saying we got within like 10 yards of them, but the whole herd spooked. And this is not a classic charge, but you damn near got run over by the whole herd.
I do. I remember that. And what happens is the wind swirls and the buffalo don't know where you are, and so they just stampede in all directions, and you get in the way, and you got to move out the way very quickly.
We actually had one cow that got extremely close to us. That one right there.
Yeah.
And it turned out I was just about to pull the trigger on her, and she turned. It turned out she had lost her calf, and once she had collected it, she turned around with the rest of the herd. But it was close.
So I'm sure that has your blood pumping, Zach.
Oh yeah, definitely did. That was a lot closer than I was expecting.
Yeah, and I ought to say this too before we go any further. Not only is it hard being a PH, it's hard being the shooter, but it's also hard being a cameraman on these early season hunts. And Doug was our cameraman on this, and Doug King is, look, early season, mid season, late season. Doug's a real expert at what he does, but it's difficult, because you're trying to get your shot just like you're trying to get your shot, and in that green hell, it's quite a chore, and as he always does, Doug did a fabulous job. So you get through with that. So I was a little fuzzy on it, Zach. The next piece of video that I remember seeing as I was scrubbing through was you're back on a herd.
Yeah, it was the same day. That was the same herd when we first approached them. They split into two. So we got on that herd, and after that little rush there, Lynn got a decent look at all of them and said there's nothing in there really worth going after. So we went over after the second half of the herd.
So, Lynn, let me pitch it to you now. You're going to the second herd. You are just moving through the bush, shadowing these buffalo, and then a fairly rare thing happens. A no shit charge.
Yeah. So we were just kind of shadowing the herd, and we were behind the herd, and I think that big herd, to be honest with you, had been harassed by lions all night and all day, and we were just coming along, minding our own business at the back, and the next thing I just heard this grunting like a lion coming through the bush. I knew straight away it was a buffalo. It was coming fast,
and you couldn't see it till it was on the end of your barrel, and you took a shot at it.
Correct. Yeah, we took a shot at it, I think It didn't. It was below the brain. The
Now,
shot.
Christy, I want you to do this in real slow motion. Now, everybody sees Lynn right here. Zach is about to sort of come into frame just to your left. He is in that bush. You see Zach's hands right there. Zach, what are you, 2 foot from this buffalo?
Yeah, that it was on the end of my barrel, maybe 2 feet away. I actually I was trying to get the safety off, and unfortunately I couldn't. I've been using my Browning the day before for plains game, and it had a safety up top, and this Ruger had one on the side. So I was flicking for the wrong safety. Otherwise, I would have shot it. But it's probably as close as he was. He probably would have fallen into me.
When you have an animal that's wounded, he may have it's breeding season. He may have a horn stuck in his gut from fighting another bull, and he's laying over there sick and pissed off at the world, and you have no idea he's there. It doesn't get any more dangerous than that.
Yeah, no, Davey. That's just some stuff you just can't predict, eh? And that's what makes it exciting. And when it does happen, you just got to be ready for it as best you can, like we were there, and deal with it as you have it, as you can. And it happened so suddenly; it was totally unexpected. Yeah, fortunately, we were able to deal with it as best we could, and it all worked out. No one got hurt, and
well, let's not gloss over that, because now you've got a bullet in it. You knew you hit it somewhere in the head neck area, and now you called in. There was some help at hand. Another professional hunter, Mark Villaro, was in the area, and you got Mark on the radio and said, "Yeah, we've got a situation over here. Can you come assist?" And Mark was able to come with.
Yeah, it was a relief to get it over. We actually shot at it, we bumped it, and I think everybody unloaded on it, and that's where it went down, and then Mark and I finished it up. But yeah, it was a huge relief. I mean, it was extremely hot and humid. I'm somebody who already sweats very easy, so I had sweated through my clothes multiple times, and it was just nice to have it over with and behind us.
Well, now, Lynn, it's probably we just need to, I always try to tell people some of the things, that maybe happen behind the scenes that they're not aware of. So now you've got this buffalo. Now this would be, certainly in the country of Zimbabwe, every hunt is accompanied by a game scout. And he's there to, observe and make sure the regulations and rules are followed. So he's always in your hip pocket. And there wasn't even a discussion that this was a self-defense shooting. I mean, that thing was all over you. So you got to do a bunch of paperwork and stuff, and you sort it out. Of course, none of the meat is wasted. The entire buffalo is recovered, and it goes to, it goes to rural folks. And but you still got a tag, so that doesn't count against your tag. So you guys, you get back on the buffalo hunt. I've seen that look on Lynn Taylor before, and here it is. That means that here he is and shoot. Yeah, like you couldn't even hardly see. It was so thick in there, but obviously, Zach, you put one in there. What were you shooting, Zach, caliber-wise?
416 Rigby.
Okay. And a beautiful bull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Lynn asked me, he's like, "Do you want to take a day off? Maybe go shoot some plains game after that?" And I was like, "No, I've got to get back in there or I'll lose my nerve and I'll never hunt buffalo again." So
no, you kept it together very well, and you couldn't really see much, but obviously you knew exactly what you're looking at. Beautiful old hard boss bull and a splendid trophy. So you got half of your safari bag filled, but now you're on to your elephant hunt. So now, without having to worry about buffalo tracks, it's just up to Lynn to find the right track. So So how many days were you into the safari before you found a good track, Lynn?
Yeah, I think I can't remember exactly, but I would say it was probably about 7 or 8 days into the safari. So, the Zambezi Valley is a very different elephant hunt to the Botswana hunt, in the sense that those elephant bulls in the valley there, it's a bit like hunting a buffalo bull in thick bush, and you get on a track early in the morning, and you could go all day and before you even catch a glimpse of him if you're lucky. And what I'm looking for in a Zambezi Valley bull is, okay, a big track in the Zambezi Valley is a 19-inch track to 20-inch track. Whereas Botswana, the western side of Zimbabwe, you're looking at a 24 to 23-inch track, which is a really big bull. And quite often, with experience, you can look at a track and you can just say that this is one that's worth following. And with Zach's bull that day, I remember we picked up that track, and I knew that bull was worth following. And yeah, we just go until we find him.
It worked out. It was a fun hunt, and that was very exciting. You can see the look on my face. That was a huge rush.
That is something that, yeah, there's very few things that can equal walking up to your first bull elephant, and it's not a jumping up and down deal. And I know you and I talked about it after that hunt. You said it's a really serious thing, and it's not jumping around and high-fiving big buck down and all that nonsense. It's when you've taken such a magnificent creature, and I know Lynn feels that way. It's a very serious thing. You can be happy about it, but it's a very personal thing.
Yeah, that elephant was, Zach couldn't have done a better shot on that thing, and that was a classic frontal brain. And I don't think people realize how hard that is to do. Zach couldn't have got it more right there. You just see the back legs go down first, his head up, and that's a typical frontal brain shot, and it's very, very hard to do.
Zach, I'm assuming the ivory that's over your right shoulder is that bull.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've killed several over the years, but that'll always, my first one will never forget that. I mean, they're all special, and the elephant's such a wonderful animal. It's so intelligent, like you were saying. Walking up to them, I mean, you have to give them the utmost respect, as you do all animals, but not like the elephant. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, I think that's something I absolutely agree with. Well, now, so we've got the Valley Safari in the books. Now we're going to move over to another really great hunting destination, again in Zimbabwe. Completely different kind of country, Lynn. We're headed down to the southeastern low veld to a big conservancy called Nuanetsi that used to be under Chifuti's control. And what was your initial species goals on this trip, Zach?
We were going after leopard. I'd already shot a smaller one in Namibia, but I wanted to get a nice big one, and I'd heard all types of great stuff about this area. And
that's typical of that area, Zach. That's just a hell of a big old tom leopard.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a beauty. Man, and you had to do that pretty quick from the time that, he was feeding. It looked like you had to make, when that light on, you were ready to rock.
Yeah, as soon as my crosshairs hit his chest, I squeezed one off and using the 375, so he didn't run very far.
You got your leopard. Now it's on to a crocodile hunt, and the Nuanetsi River that runs through there in Texas, we'd call it a creek, Lynn. When you think of a big river, you think of Zambezi or something. Now there's lots of places in the Nuanetsi that you can walk across it, but it has big pools up and down it, and that's where those crocs you hang out. So I guess you guys had spotted a big basking croc and putting a stalk on.
Again. And again. Here's another one. Bullet. Spine, neck. That first shot killed him outright. When he was ready to go, you were ready.
Yeah, we had been told about this croc, I think the day before or something. So we figured we'd go and have a look, see if he was around, and sure enough, he was. And Zach shot that thing so well. It was incredible. Anyway,
and that's a hard angle, Lynn. I mean, with that thing, pointed away from you and just a little bit of an angle, that you can shoot. Certainly have a far easier shot on a crocodile than he just pulled off. And look at that thing.
Yes. Yeah, he's a beauty.
Yeah, that's a beast. How did you have that thing mounted, Zach?
He's fully mounted. Let's see if I can. Right there.
Oh, well.
Okay. Tail up, head down. Yeah, that's a good way to mount it. Okay. Yeah, wonderful. So you've got your leopard, you've got your croc. Now, an unexpected opportunity presented itself, Zach. So tell me a little bit about that.
Once we were done with the croc, and the guy who was in charge of the hunting area, Brent, he said that there was a group of bulls that were tearing up the water piping for a lot of the pans and the water tanks, and he said one of them was about a 30-pounder, and if I wanted to go after it, he would cut me a good deal on it. So it was a no-brainer. Unfortunately, I didn't bring an elephant rifle. I hadn't this wasn't even on my radar, so we went after it with a 375 scoped H&H.
He's 20 pounds, Zach. 25 maybe, not even 20. Which way is he going?
Yeah, we were minding our own business. We'd actually decided there was nothing around, and we were on our way back to the truck when we walked into those cows and calves and.
Zach, come here. Zach, come back. Come with me, Zach. Come here. Zach, don't shoot. Watch it. Okay, no, don't shoot them.
Now, let's look at that again. You're the elephant man, Lynn. Talk me through why this happened or why you think this happened.
So we were wandering back to the truck, and the wind is blowing from our left to the right. Okay, and that's the matriarch that's coming for us now. And she actually was in the front of the herd, and when she picked up our wind, and that's when she turned and decided that we weren't where we were supposed to be, and just came out from the front of the herd.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and you tell me if you agree with it, Lynn. But bull elephants, when they discover a hunter, there's a lot of bluster and bluffing, and just trying to get you to leave. I would say there's a lot more that goes on with bull elephants like that than cow elephants. Am I right?
Yeah, the bull elephants, they generally just bluffing, and you've got to be, you can work with them. Whereas those cows, you can't really work with them once they've made up their mind. They're coming. There's no stopping them except a bullet. That's all. That's the only thing that's going to stop them.
Well, there's no doubt there wasn't a damn thing bluff about this. This thing was coming to kill you, and that, boy, those kind of things happen in such a flash. And now, is this going to be? Yeah, this is Zach's angle right here. This is a hell of a. And I think y'all shot just on top of each other,
Right.
And obviously another frontal brain, which is the only, you could have shot that thing in the chest 14 times and it would have killed both of you before it ran out of oxygen. But yeah, when you talk about an unwounded charge, Zach, you've suffered or been blessed with them, however you choose to look at it. You've definitely got to experience two full-on, no kidding charges from animals that were unwounded, and that's a rare thing to really happen once in a career, much less twice.
Right, and since we came out of it unscathed, I'll definitely say it's a blessing. Definitely could have gone another way, but our aim was good. We knocked her down, and it was something I'll never forget. I'm showing those videos on my phone all the time. People always ask me about them. Introduce me to their friends. Pull your phone out, show them that charge. So I've got that thing memorized.
They call it dangerous game for a reason, because you just never know. You better be prepared for it from the time you leave camp to the time you get back to camp, because things can and do happen. And what we've seen today is something that everybody's considering a dangerous game safari better be prepared for. It's dangerous for a reason. Every member of that dangerous 5 or dangerous 7 or big 5, all of them have a long, long list of times where they won and the hunter lost. And, for the animals, it's life and death. And if things go wrong, it's going to be the same odds for a hunter. I mean, you make the shot, or brother, your troubles are all over. You're off the tax rolls anyhow. So I congratulate the team of both of you for getting through unscathed on both of those, because those are both situations that could have ended a lot worse than they did. So Lynn, I expect not a damn thing less from you handling those things like that. But for a client hunter, Zach, on all that stuff, I mean, you performed you performed like you got up and did it every day of your life, and that's a testament. And I know you're a guy like me. You believe in practice and being prepared and all that, and everything that you did, pays off in those situations.
Yeah, I always watched a lot of videos, of course. The Tanzania guy, what's his name, Mark Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
All types of videos, and just kind of going through that scenario in my head, hoping it would never happen, but just doing that and talking to the PHs, how to handle it, how to stay calm. I mean, that made all the difference in the world. Otherwise, I probably would have been turning and running. But I was able to overcome that fear and stand my ground and at least contribute.
Guys, it's greatly appreciated, y'all being on the show today, and I've really been looking forward to talking to both of you. And Lynn, it's always a great time to catch up with you. The heart and soul of this series is the video that brings the discussions to life. If you're finding us for the first time, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being here. Do me two things I'll ask every week. Hit like and subscribe. That way you make sure you're never going to miss any more action. And if you've been watching for a while and you say, boy, this is my kind of entertainment, please check out our Safari Classics TV app. It's online right now. You get all of the digital podcasts. You get 20 years of tracks across Africa, dark and dangerous. We have a community aspect to it where you ask questions, we answer them. We want to hear your stories, see your photos, see your video, and we break down the safari experience in great detail. We try to make this, if you are interested in safari or you want to know more about safari, there is one place to find it, and you can find it all, and it's the Safari Classics TV app. Please check it out. Until then, we'll see you right here next time on Safari Classics TV.